vision. My one solution is my queen, cause she stays strong. Yeah, yeah. She is always in my corner, right there when I wanna hold you.
London, home to 8.6 million people. With such a large population, it is easy to question how everyone gets around. Most people would say driving is the norm. However, London boasts one of the best transport networks in the world, using the likes of the Underground, Overground and London's famous Black Taxi and Routemaster buses. It is one of the most interesting topics to discuss, the rapid advancement of TfL and technology it used to quicken its advancement. Go back 186 years and buses were being pulled by horses, and the London Underground wasn't even built yet. The London Underground is one of the more popular methods of transport around London. It was first started in what is known as the Metropolitan Railway. During this time, trains were pulled by steam locomotives. Electric technology wasn't introduced till 1904. By 1907, the electrification of the Underground was fully completed. The Metropolitan Railway worked hand in hand with the District Railway to set up London's Inner Circle line in 1884. The rapid progression of the London Underground was astonishing due to its vast technological advancement. It was later decided that the Underground should have its own logo and be recognised across London. This was achieved through joint marketing schemes which developed the London Underground logo along with the iconic maps which would direct people to their destinations. The Underground was built under London using a vast network of tunnels that stretched across the city's capital. The first tunnel was dug in 1869. A passage was dug through the London clay from the Great Tower Hill to the Pickle Herring Stairs. A circular tunnel was dug using a wrought iron shield. This method was used by Peter William Barlow and was later patented by him. A railway was laid in the tunnel and a wooden carriage carried passengers from one side to another. This later proved to be uneconomical. The tunnel was converted into the walkway now known as the Tower Subway, which can be found next to the Tower of London. The London Underground was such a useful and convenient method of transport for Londoners that it was suggested additional lines should be added in order to meet the needs of the people using it. One such line that was added was the Victoria Line. It was suggested to the British Transport Commission to have an underground running from Victoria to Walthamstow in order to relieve congestion in central areas. Construction began in 1962. In 1969, the Queen Elizabeth II staged an opening ceremony in Victoria, placing a commemorative plaque on the station platform. As the years went by, further stations were added to the line, such as Brixton and Pimlico.
Named after Queen Victoria, the new tube route was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II. The addition of the new section brings the total distance between terminal stations up to 10.5 miles at the moment and drastically cuts travelling times for thousands of Londoners. The entire Victoria line will be completed in the early 1970s.
The Underground is not the only method to get around the city. London is famous for its iconic red Routemaster buses. They too, like the Underground, have a long history dating back to the 1800s. The first London bus was first deployed on the streets of London in 1829 when George Shillybere ran his horse-drawn omnibus service going from Paddington to the city. In 1855, the London General Omnibus Company was founded to merge and regulate the service of buses running on the streets of London because there were other opportunists running bus services. As time progressed, it was clear that technology used for the horse-drawn buses were insufficient to the times. LGOC responded by bringing out the first motorised bus in 1902. In 1933, the LGOC and the London Underground merged to form the new LPTB. After this merger, bus numbers were introduced onto the routes used by buses. Over the course of time, the shape and sizes of the buses changed with the technological time in order to keep up with demand. The Palestra Building, TfL HQ. This is where all the work happens, such as plans for train and bus upgrades, future innovations and meetings to discuss the evolution of TfL. The man behind it all, Boris Johnson. In 2008, Boris Johnson was elected Mayor of London. He was given the responsibility to run London's transport system in addition to his other responsibilities. This would ultimately change the London transport system as London knew it. Boris Johnson brought about a number of changes to the transport system, the introduction of the new Route Master bus and the Oyster system. The Oyster system has changed the way Londoners pay for their travel. When it was first introduced back in 2003, its purpose was to reduce congestion at ticket offices and lower the premium Londoners paid for their travel. By June 2012, more than 43 million Oyster cards had been issued, and 80% of all journeys were made using an Oyster. Boris Johnson took the Oyster to its full potential, and now has gone one step further by introducing contactless payment. This allows customers to pay for their travel by using their bank card and offers the same premium as an Oyster. The average Londoner would agree the Oyster system is a great tool to take advantage of. This interviewee, who was interviewed for research purposes, certainly had his views on the matter.
The Oyster card, I think, was a great invention. It's a system that works really well. You may recall previously if you didn't have an Oyster card and you wanted to get a ticket for a bus at one of those little ticket vending machines on the street, a lot of the times those vending machines didn't work and they didn't give you your money back, and it was a nightmare if you wanted to get your money back. So for me, the Oyster card is a great invention. It works really, really well. The only problem I have is I think all teenagers should be able to use the transit system for free, but they're not. You have to pay a certain amount of money and get a particular kind of card. But it's a great system. It works really well for me. I wouldn't ever look back. I wouldn't want it any other way. I just power it up. I'm good to go. I think it's quick. It gets passengers onto the trains quicker. It gets them onto buses quicker. Brilliant.
This has been an interesting journey in uncovering the history of the London transport. It really opens one's view on the way the transport system and the innovation it has used to keep up with the times. This historical journey now comes to the final conclusion. I have been your host, and I bid you farewell.
You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.